All right. Welcome back. First Takedown Podcast, episode 20. I am Alex alongside a Hunter Gamble.
Episode 20.
Episode 20, the big 2-0.
What a milestone.
Yeah.
What a milestone. We're almost a year in, so we're almost like an episode every 2 weeks, which I think is fine for where we started this thing, you know?
Yeah, it is crazy because it feels like we just were like, yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going to pick up obviously here. Like we knew the start of the year, the start of 2026, we'd pick up holiday season kind of slow. Last week we had an episode starting to dive into more of the kind of gambling lines on DraftKings and talk about that a little bit, lean into that. But I don't know. Can you remember like a more obviously Big Ten? I feel like Big Ten season when this comes around is always like very exciting. Not saying that it's not now, but I guess it's almost like Penn State, Iowa, and we're like, it's cool. It's Penn State, Iowa, but it's like you kind of know the outcome sort of deal, whereas it used to not be that way. I don't know.
Yeah, it was more of like a spectacle. You're like, ooh, I can't wait for this one.
Right.
I don't know really what's going to happen because a pin could really sway it either way.
That's right. And, you know, the one that sticks out this year, and obviously just because of how well they're wrestling, is Ohio State, Penn State, right? Like this year might be more the Ohio State, Penn State duel that we're a little more intrigued by. And obviously, as I do that, I start just running off matches in my head, and I'm like, oh, wow, banger, 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 banger. Like, you just start doing that in your head for the Ohio State Penn State duel, and it's definitely interesting in the beginning. With this Iowa Penn State duel, not as much firepower right off the start for Iowa. But I mean, if we want to talk about firepower or fireworks, you know, we can talk about last week.
Wow,
we could talk about this past Sunday, the biggest firework that could be let off. Jack's Forest.
Did you see the post thing of them putting the initials in their post? I was like,
I did. Obviously, no one was going to catch that. Like, you know.
So yeah, so I actually did that when I proposed to my wife Amanda. I had Amanda like, "Will you be my wife?" or something like that, and my first initial. So I kind of think that they took it from me, but it's okay. I'll let them take it. But Sunday. I mean, we thought it was going to happen, right? That Jax was going to be coming out, but man, still thrilling. So exciting.
It was so I listened to David give his post-match press conference, and then I listened to Facundo and Jax they did like a little short recap after the duel, and it was interesting because you kind of have this one guy in Facundo who, a little bit older of a guy, you know, been a transfer, you know, obviously first year at the program, but he's kind of been in the streets for a long time, right? Like he's kind of been doing it for a while, and Jax is basically still like a high schooler. So it's kind of funny seeing like the juxtaposition between those two guys, like on the podium talking, first off. But second off, they asked Facundo how he would kind of describe like the whole situation with Jax, surrounding around Jax, and you know what happened that night. And he was like, he basically said, and this is the best way I've heard it described, is, and I'm paraphrasing here, so don't, you know, maybe go watch the interview and see what he said. But he basically said like it didn't even feel like a match; it just felt like a welcome party sort of deal, all right? Like it just wasn't even like, it was just like, all right, we're doing like a ceremony, like almost just like a ceremony for Jax, and that's basically what it was.
It was. There was so much hype about it. And like, you know, there was speculation about a month ago, like, is this going to happen? Is this happening? And then to see it actually happen, you're like, okay, man, that was hype. They were all ready. Like everyone was pumped, excited. I was sitting there watching all the videos. I wasn't watching at the time. I could be honest. I wasn't watching. And I was like, oh shoot. And so.
Yeah, I think mine was, it happened so fast. I you know, sometimes I'll kind of, you know, they go to commercial break or they go to break, especially on ESPN Plus, and I just kind of zone out, and I wasn't really thinking, especially after the Hendrickson and Spratley match was kind of a snooze fest. I kind of just was kind of just like, all right, I was cleaning up in the kitchen or doing whatever, and then I heard all the roars, and I was like, what is that? And then I was like, I got to back it up like 20 seconds. I got to catch this whole thing. So
Yeah, that is sweet.
Pretty
That is
freaking cool.
awesome. I'm excited for him. I'm interested to see, what that lineup does look like when it gets to the end of the year. Is he gonna be competing in that 133 spot? Can is he just gonna take this as his like redshirt year with the 5 dates, right? Has anything beneficial from that standpoint?
So he gave an interview and basically said, or there was a reporter asking him some questions, and he said he's going to take his 5 dates. So I think that's all we know right now. Like he's going to use his 5 dates, and you got to kind of speculate that maybe the Oklahoma State Iowa duel is one of those. So I would think that we're gonna get to see Jackson Ayala, right? If they both toe the line. So I would think we'd get to see that match. If he beats Ayala, it's kind of like, hey man, go wrestle in the national tournament. Like Ayala, unfortunately, he hasn't had his best year this year, but he still is kind of that barometer for the weight a little bit. Like he's kind of the barrier to greatness, which sucks for him because he's always kind of been a bridesmaid and never a bride. I mean, two-time national finalist. I don't want to give him too much hate, but just he's never reached that upper echelon tier, and he's always kind of been that guy of like, if you're really really good, you're probably gonna beat Drake Ayala, but if you're not to that level, he's gonna beat you and probably smash you for the most part. Unfortunately, like I said, he took that loss to Zan Fugit. But before that, his loss, he had a loss to Frost. He had a loss to Ben DeVino. So it's kind of like, if you beat Drake, you're kind of like, all right, I'm like in that upper echelon, All-American, national caliber tier. So, and I think we know Jax is that regardless of him beating Drake or not. But just with his freestyle results and the results he has put out so far, and kind of, he's similar. He's like a peer to Marcus Blaze, right? Like I feel like they are peers. They've always kind of been compared side by side, and we see how great Marcus is doing. Obviously, they have two completely different styles, but yeah, I'm pumped. Yeah. I'm excited to see his 5 dates and then see what they do at the end of the year.
Yeah. You got to think that they're gonna really evaluate once you get to these Big Ten matchups. And then you also got to think that your homeboy, oh man, blanking on his name, Arizona State, now 133 at Okie State. Figueroa, Figs. You got to think he's just chilling now. He's just chilling.
Yeah, he hasn't really looked good all year. He got beat down at the scuffle pretty good against Evan Mugallian of Penn. Actually, one of my friends, Alexis, it's her cousin. I had no idea that they were cousins. But then I looked up and he's pinning Richard Figueroa, and I'm like, dude, this dude's a savage.
Get him on the pod.
Yeah, no, yeah, I should. Get him on the pod. Get him on the pod. I'll tell Alexis. I'll be like, hey, we got to get. He's family friend now, family friend of the pod. So we'll get him on.
In. One of the boys. Well, I mean, speaking of that, we're talking about Drake Ayala and that potential matchup. I mean, going into Iowa, I guess the other big news to hit on this week in Dean, a 197 former D3 champ, transfer overs, having a pretty good start to the year. Only lost.
He's having a great year.
Yeah, and only lost to Rocky, and now is no longer at the program. Didn't get too many details. A lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, but it is a big. I mean, it's a hit for your program. Where I was at, and they can't really, if they want to be in that top three, 4, like, then that's a big hit that they're taking this second half of the season. So.
Yeah, and like you said, he was having a great year. I think he was ranked 4th before that announcement. We're not here to speculate and tell you the reasons why. We do know he just had a child, so I don't there's got to be some complications going on, but we don't know anything else besides that. Mm-hmm. So all we know is he's off the team. They're going to have to wrestle somebody else at 197, whether that be Harvey Luddington, great recruit that they got last year, who's a true freshman, but is he ready yet? I don't know. And then we could possibly see Gabe. We've seen Gabe at 197. Gabe Arnold, obviously he's undersized, but we've seen him wrestle there this year, just kind of spot start. So maybe we see Gabe. We'll see. I mean, he kind of He was the guy last year at 184. Could we see him this weekend against Barr? I mean, I guess it's possible. Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of questions. Listen, they did not look good this weekend. Iowa did, and they're about to host the best team in the country at home this weekend. And I don't know. It gives me a weird feeling. It's almost like everybody's kind of like down on Iowa, and I just don't want to be that. Like, it's still Iowa. Like, what? I'm not going to be the guy that's like, oh yeah, like all of a sudden, Iowa's just not good. I just don't think that that's true. I think they're gonna show up at times when it matters. I think they're gonna have a. I'm not saying the score's gonna be great for them this weekend, but they're gonna go out there and wrestle their guys, and it's gonna be in Carver Hawkeye. Like, it's going to be a raucous crowd. They're going to be hosting Penn State. I don't think it's a spot where they just get the floor wiped on them. And maybe they do. I would be surprised if they just went out there and laid down, though.
Yeah. Well, you're right, and we were just talking about how that that Ohio State Penn State matchup is now just a little bit more exciting to us as viewers and wrestling fans, but I think partly because of how we saw last weekend, how that was like against Iowa State. And so, the tough part is when we can get into it here in just a second, we're going to get into this big matchup because that's the highlight of this week for wrestling is Iowa versus Penn State. But overall, I mean, it's just the tough part with Penn State is they just don't match up super great with them. Where the good guys are, Penn State has really good guys. And so we'll get into that. But
yeah, I mean, we can start at the top. I mean, they've got a good guy in Dean Peterson, and listen, he's got a win over Luke Lillidahl. They've only wrestled one time, and Dean Peterson won that match. So, I mean, I'm not saying that Dean wins the match this time too. Obviously, we didn't even see him wrestle last weekend, so we don't know who they're going to run out there. Was that just like a snap count thing? I don't know. But we've seen these guys wrestle once, and Dean won, and it wasn't like a fluke like Brandon McCrone did pinning Luke Lillidahl, right? It was a win for Dean, and so what do we get out of that match? We'll see. I would project Luke to win, but it's at Carver Hawkeye. We've seen Luke lose a match this year. He dropped a match to Nate Desmond. We haven't seen him be maybe that point scoring machine like he was last year. So I don't know. That'll be an interesting one to kick it off if they start at 25. But I think most people are probably just projecting Luke to win. I don't think it's that cut and dry.
No, and you're right. I mean, I think with Peterson, I think sometimes he does shine a little bit in the light, and this is one that if Iowa did want to have any sort of chance of keeping the duel close, he'd need to sneak this one out, and they need some momentum on their side and the energy from that crowd for sure.
They do, and if they do start at 25, they absolutely need some momentum. Unfortunately, I can't see my way around. If you go to WrestleStat has Drake Ayala beating Marcus Blaze. I cannot find a way for that from the results I've seen this year. I can't find a way for that to be the case. That's like, if you're trying to make it work for Iowa and like figure out a path to at least like maybe win a few matches, that's probably one that you're like, they got to have 33 or they got to have 25. I don't know if they get either one of them, but I feel less confident about 33, especially after the way I've seen Ayala wrestle this year against Frost, against Fugit, against Davino, some of those losses that we mentioned. But man, Marcus Blaze just looked so good. I don't know what type of match Drake would even wrestle to keep it close. Like, and this is not me bad mouthing Drake Ayala. I just think these young guys are so good, man. Jax, Blaze, Davino, all those guys. And we saw what happened when Davino wrestled him. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting, but this one I don't feel great for Iowa. If you're kind of bookmarking this one as a toss-up, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And this is, the first time we're going to see, Marcus Blaze kind of wrestle like a top 10, like quote unquote opponent in college, but I don't think that matters. I think just the way that he's been wrestling, the way that Drake's been wrestling, I do think this is one that Iowa needs to have, but I don't think they're going to have.
No. And then, I mean, what's so funny is the next match, we watched this match last year, Braden Davis and Nasir Bailey. If Nasir goes, right? They wrestled. Who did they wrestle this past weekend? They wrestled someone else at the weight because Nasir Bailey has just looked like a shell of himself, not good whatsoever. But he did wrestle Braden Davis last year, and it was a 1-0 loss. So if they wrestle again, I would not predict that. I would predict Braden to win by a larger margin. But they're both going up in weight from last year. It was a 1-0 match last year. So I don't know. I'm going to have to see a different Nasir Bailey before I can feel any confidence in having him pull off a match like this.
Yeah, and this is one, right, where Nagao was, potentially that starter right at 141 for the year, and now Braden Davis kind of stepping up in that 141 spot. This is probably maybe more of a toss up than a lot of the other matches. But I'm excited to see what Braden Davis is going to look like, and so you never really know. I think this one is maybe a little bit more not as confident with what's going to happen. But and if Nasir
Yeah,
Bailey gets to the top and wrestles like he used to, then he could
yeah.
get some points.
I don't know how you could have. I don't know how you could have any conviction that that's going to be the case. I mean, I would like to see it, but I don't know how you feel confident in that at all. Especially after the performance he put out there at Soldier Salute. It was not good. So I don't know if he's going to start. I don't even know if he'll be the guy towing the line or not. So they may run somebody else out there.
Well, and one fine got Shane Van Ness and Ryder Block.
Yeah, so I saw Block take a loss this past weekend, and it looked like he almost just kind of like wrestled himself out of the match a little bit. He just kind of did too much too early and kind of blew his wad. I don't want to like call this because I think Shane Van Ness wins the match, but like weird stuff happens at Carver Hawkeye Arena and guys get tired and things happen. And like, so Shane Van Ness probably like wins this match very comfortably, but in an alternate universe, there is a universe where like Ryder Block makes it very stingy on Van Ness and he can't score and he gets one on the edge and, the crowd's going nuts and you kind of see the life kind of drain out of Van Ness a little bit. There is a scenario where that happens. I'm not saying it's this Friday. I think there's a universe where that happens, but give me Van Ness pretty comfortably. I just think it's happened so many times before. If you're going to predict one, it's going to be a weight like this where it's kind of a tough guy like Ryder Block who stays in matches, doesn't really let matches get too out of hand. And then it's going to be a guy against Van Ness who, is kind of all over the place, right? He's solid and he's got great offense, but we've also seen him give up large numbers of points in bunches at times as well against like Ridge Lovett and matches like that. So, I've seen weird stuff. I've seen Zane Rettiford pushed to the absolute brink in this place. And I've seen, Mark Hall lose in this place.
Yeah.
I've seen Vincenzo take losses. I mean, it's a place where these Penn State guys, this white stripe, that Carver Hawkeye bites them a little bit.
Yeah, and I do feel like it's also the other situation where, and I don't know what to say. I'm not a Penn State hater at all. Not a Penn State hater because I think they're very, very good. It's a little bit of the underdog. Like a lot of times, you're just gonna still be rooting for them. They've just been so good for so long.
Yeah.
And it does happen a lot of times where you can kind of see that momentum shift in these matches when you have these home duels. But Penn State has that ability to, when you think the life's like sucked out of them, somebody gets a point on the edge, whatever, and then they just come and take it right back and score again. I feel like that happens so much with them. They're like, you think they could maybe do it, and then they're like, oh wait, never mind, he just scored another takedown. Oh, there's back points. Yeah. So,
yeah. Well, hopefully they do get 49 because if they don't, it's gonna get messy a little bit. I think I think similar to 41. I think at the beginning of the year, you would like project, you'd be like, man, could we see like Jordan Williams go out there and like slap a cradle on PJ Duke or something? Jordan Williams hasn't looked like the same Jordan Williams. And I don't even know if they will put Jordan Williams out there or not. They've been kind of doing some other stuff with their lineup. I don't think it really matters who they put out there. PJ is going to run through whoever they put out there.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of the same situation, a little bit how they had last year with a couple of guys that they pulled from Arizona State over to Iowa. You just have, with Nasir Bailey and Jordan Williams just not kind of competing at the level you're hoping for, when they have these big NIL deals. And I want them to do well because I like to watch them wrestle. But PJ Duke's something else. He's gonna pull it
He's
out
good,
pretty.
man.
Yeah.
He's good.
Now, have these guys wrestled before? 165?
Messenbrink and Caliendo, first time they've ever wrestled, I think, this weekend. Yeah, I know. And it's like the thorn in the side for Caliendo, right? So is Messenbrink. But this is where I think if you're Messenbrink, you like had your foot on the gas on this guy all the time, nonstop. And then Big Tens, you saw him pull the gas off the pedal a little bit. NCAAs, you saw that even a little bit more, right? So is that like him tightening down for the end of the season? Like, does it just get to everybody? Like, it's the end of the season, you got nerves, it's your chance to, finally get a national title and you take your foot off the gas a little bit? Maybe. I'll be curious to see what Messenbrink we get this weekend. Is he going to wrestle him like he did at the end of the year, or how he's always done it where he's tech falled him twice? So I don't know. And not to say this has nothing to do with I think this is a match that we all realize it's going to go how Messenbrink wants it to go. Can Caliendo do stuff to counteract that? Absolutely. I'm not saying that he's just helpless out there, but it depends on the way that Messenbrink wrestles, what the damage will be in this match.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this, you're exactly right. It could go either way. It could go blood or it could go 4-1. But either way, Messenbrink will be controlling like the whole match. So that's one that I would be shocked if Caliendo is able to pull it out. 74, also some common opponents, Levi Haynes, Patrick Kennedy.
Yeah, and same thing. I mean, this has been the same match every single time they've wrestled. So it's been one-sided for Levi. They wrestled 3 times last year, and it was, 10-3, 10-3, 11-3, literally just like basically the same type of match. So I think we get a similar result, maybe a little more from Levi, or maybe Patrick keeps it a little bit closer. Levi was a world champ this year. I mean, is he separating himself? He's trying to win a Hodge Trophy. Some of those things matter for these guys now. So are they going to really separate themselves? I think that's when you got to think about with Messenbrink, like he's trying to win a Hodge. Like, Hey, Mitchell, you got to go bonus the guy if you want to win a Hodge, So, and maybe we see that. Maybe we see that with Levi.
Well, he's got a bonus if we need them to hit this line that we'll get into DraftKings later.
We'll talk about it.
All right, now this might be, my favorite match I'm looking forward to. 184, Rocco Welsh versus Angelo Ferrari. They got a common opponent, Carter Strachey, only same person that they've wrestled. What do you think?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, about as toss-up of a toss-up as you can get. 2 guys that have never wrestled. One guy at Iowa, very great defense. One guy at Penn State, getting better offensively, right? I think we've seen that this year where Rocco's getting better offensively. His first year, he was kind of that stand in the middle, hand fight type of guy. And now he's elevating his offense. But man, we've never seen defense like we see with Ferrari. I mean, this is just his level of defense is impressive, and he seems like he's doing a little bit more offensively as well recently. So I don't know. I'll pick Ferrari in the first match. I think he's such a hard puzzle to figure out. I really do. I think Strachey beat him on some mat stuff, winning on the mat and never really scored on his feet. And I just haven't really seen the guy get taken down. So it's kind of hard for me to pick against him when I just don't see him get taken down. Now, it could be a mat wrestling match, and I think Rocco could still win that. So I'm not saying he's out of it if that's the case, but it's hard for me to pick against a guy that I just haven't really seen him get taken down yet. So.
Yeah, and it could be a little bit similar to not as funky as Ferrari's match with Sinclair, but just results wise, I feel like it could get to that with like not as much scoring till like just the very end. We get into some sort of scramble and
the one difference I'll say in that is Aiden Sinclair never tried to score really.
Yeah.
Like or I won't say he never tried to score. He did try to score. It was only on like counterattacks or drags. Like it was never like committed leg attacks. It was a lot of re-attack stuff. It was really Angelo that was the one kind of moving forward, taking leg attacks, taking some risk. Rocco's he's gonna take some risk. Now they may be like high level shots. They may not be hitting a knee very often. He's a big snatch guy. He's a big outside step, high crotch guy. So look for that maybe more than you see like these really drastic committed shots. But I don't see Rocco wrestling the same style that Aiden does. So we may see a little bit more action just from him kind of moving it forward. Now, obviously, not to say we didn't get action with Angelo and Aiden. It just looked different than maybe this will look.
Exactly. But I think you're right in that I think Angelo just being at Carver Hawkeye, I think he's going to pull away this first one. I think they probably wrestle a couple more times this year.
Yeah, I think so. I think this will be early projection. I think this will be the Big Ten final, and I know that's glossing over one guy in McAnally, but I've really liked what I've seen from these two guys, and I think they could be in the Big Ten finals and the national finals.
Yep. That'll be the first one. See how it goes. Well, 197 we talked about just a little bit, but Josh Barr is back in lineup now, and 197 now we're not sure really who I was going to throw out there.
Yeah, and I mean, if it was anybody else, we'd be talking about it a little bit, but Josh Barr head and shoulders over the weight class. I'm not even I mean, if he wrestled Rocky Elam this weekend, what do you think would happen?
I think Josh Barr would probably major.
Yeah, I mean, he'd win handily, right? So to me, it's a bad weight. It really is. It's one of the, and now it just got worse with Dean being out there or not being out there. I don't think it's a great weight. I really don't. I think it's anybody's opportunity to place. Mm-hmm. If you look at kind of the top few guys, there's so many guys that are in that range that can place, but the upper echelon of the weight is not great. And I think Josh Barr is just a buzzsaw or a bar saw.
Now tell me this. You're wrestling senior year, Gardner Webb. You see this 197, you bumping up?
Oh, man, I was too small for 84.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have taken some steroids or some sort of, something to move up there. But I don't want any of these guys today. These guys today are better than we were 10 years ago.
Well, to finish it out, we got Cole, Mirasola, and then Keeter. Big Ben.
Yeah, and I think this is a Keeter win. I think it's a Keeter win, but I could see Cole winning. I just think that Ben he passed a test last weekend, and I think that test is maybe a little bit harder than Cole Mirasola. I've watched Cole Mirasola wrestle this year. I wasn't like uber impressed some of the times that I watched him, but I mean, we'll see. They've got some common opponents. Cole Mirasola wrestled Luke Luffman and Nick Feldman last year and lost those matches. Every single time Keeter's wrestled Feldman, he's beaten him, which is kind of shocking to me. That kind of breaks my brain a little bit. But he's beaten him every time. I think Ben is starting to get healthy, starting to get right at the right time of the year, and he wasn't healthy earlier in 2025. So I think we kind of see a more healthy Ben Keeter, and I think he wins this one. Pretty close match, 4-2 type of match.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many of those, just to go over real quick, I mean, there was maybe 3 that we said could be toss up to Iowa, and one that you really called it. I mean, you said Angelo and then Keeter, I guess. So there's a couple. There's a couple there, but it matches.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dean Peterson, Luke Lillidahl, I think that's something. I think there's something there, but I think if I'm projecting the duel out and I'm saying, hey, this is what I think will happen, I think it's 8-2.
Yeah.
Penn State over Iowa. I think it could be 10-0. It could be 7-3. I see a really tough world where it's 6-4, but I just don't know if I see that world. But I see the most common the most common world where it's 8-2, 9-1.
Yeah, and a lot of bonus in there.
Yeah. I mean,
like 3 of them.
41 could be, 49 could be, 57 could be, 65 we don't really know. We know it could be. We've seen it before. 74 gonna be close, but could be, and then 97 absolutely.
Yeah.
Um.
I mean, just speaking on that, I feel like I've changed that the framing in my mind to think about the lines now a little bit more. So, I mean, going in, I mean, should we just hop into it, you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, just because, I mean, coaching, when you think about dual teams, you used to think about the line of like, okay, if this guy just gets minored, then this guy needs to get a pin. And now I feel like I'm thinking about a lot more now that we're getting into these DraftKings, these lines that they're putting out for NCAA wrestling. And so right now they have 4 out there. Which ones did you want to hit? I mean,
we'll hit all of them.
Okay.
We'll give sort of what we think on all of them, but let's obviously talk about this one first.
Yeah.
The line opened at 25.5 today on Wednesday. It's up to 26.5 for Penn State. They're minus 26.5. So they would have to win by 27 points to cover that line. I just think it's in Iowa. 27 points is a heck of a lot of points to cover. Can they do it? Absolutely. They could. This match could be 34-0. It could be. There's a world where that's true. I don't see that happening. I'm not gonna dock Iowa. My gosh, they didn't look their best against Wisconsin. Like, they're dead in the water. They're at home. They're at Carver Hawkeye Arena. I think that matters. I would take the 26.5 currently. I would probably wait. I don't think that number is going to move a whole lot. I'd probably wait to maybe get some more information on who's going for Iowa. This is what you got to really hope. I mean, this is kind of what it comes down to for me, is if you win 84 in heavyweight, you're probably good. If you're Iowa, if you take Iowa. If you don't win one of those weights, and if you lose 9 matches, you're probably not good, because there's going to be a whole lot more bonus than what WrestleStat will project. They're going to project basically every match to be a decision except for the Josh Barr match. So I think 26.5 is just, man, that's a lot of points. And it's Iowa and it's Penn State, and it's still 1 versus 3 in the country. It's, I don't know. I have a hard time taking Penn State in that spot. It was a similar match last year with Ohio State, and all that has to go wrong is one thing for Penn State to rock the boat. That's a big line to cover, and you got to have basically everything go right. You got to win 9 matches in enemy territory.
That's a good point. I actually thought you'd be going the other way just from what we were looking at, but I mean, you think about some of these matches, it's just one swing. That's a big swing of points. If you're able, like, even say somebody's able to get a pin, that's a huge swing.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not a match I'm running to the books and like smashing right now. It's probably one I wait on. I'm going to look for the Iowa probables. I'm probably going to wait and look for maybe anything of information from Penn State on who they're going to send out. Are they sending out their full roster out there? I'm going to probably look for that, because listen, any changes in the roster and it can flip the whole thing. I mean, it can absolutely flip the whole thing. So I'd be looking out for those when it comes to this dual meet, and just, using every bit of information. Use their Twitters, look for information on their Twitter profile. Sometimes they'll post their lineup, sometimes they post probables. It's not real. So you got to kind of read between the lines and know what teams you're following.
Yeah. Well, now we've got a few other ones out there. So the other one right now is Missouri, Arizona State. Missouri is minus 2.5 right now live. I don't know what it was before, but just looking at it, what are you thinking?
I would take Missouri. I know it's at Arizona State, and they've actually been wrestling really well. Arizona State has. But I think I would just take Missouri, and you got to think like we got to win 6 matches, right? And I think you probably feel pretty good about doing that at 25. You probably feel pretty good about doing that at 49. And then you probably are like, we got to go get 74, 84, 97, and then it's a toss up at heavyweight. I think, these guys haven't wrestled at heavyweight. I think that's kind of maybe what it comes down to. It's maybe the biggest toss up. And then if you can take either 41 or heavyweight, you feel pretty good. Cade Moore could beat Kyler Larkin, probably give that one to Arizona State. Zeke Seltzer could beat Pearson Manville. So like if he takes that one, it's definitely Missouri in my mind. But I don't give a big bonus edge because I do think that like Nico Ruiz could get some bonus. Actually, I take that back. I probably would give a bonus edge. Where Missouri is solid, Arizona State's really good, but I don't see those as like huge, Nico Ruiz, Max Mayfield. I don't see that as some like, they wrestled 7-6 last year at the national tournament, right? So, and actually Nico Ruiz lost that match. So it's possible that Mayfield wins that match, but I'll probably give it to Ruiz just based on how he's been wrestling this year. But you got to feel good that Cam Steed goes out, gets some bonus. Aiden Sinclair goes out, gets some bonus. If they can bonus like big time at those two weights, you may just cover the 2.5 with bonus, and it's 5-5. So yeah. I just kind of like the leverage you're getting with Missouri.
Yeah. I like that. All right, you've got another one a couple more on Friday. That one was on Thursday, but on Friday you've got Army and Cornell. What do you?
Yeah, I looked at it. The line was opened at 15.5. It's now down to 14.5. I would have loved to bet West Point at 15.5. You get, if you feel pretty good about probably getting wins at 33, 65, and heavyweight. Now you're gonna not win the duel, and you're probably going to give up some bonus in some spots. But I think 3 is that magic number you got to hit. If you can win 3 matches, I think you probably cover that number off. So that's why I'd probably take Army. It's still nip and tuck. I'm not feeling super confident about that one. Maybe wait and look for some lineup stuff. I don't think that number's going to get crazy out of hand either way. Iowa, Penn State, and then this one, those are probably the ones I'd wait on a little bit. And then I think you could feel pretty confident about hitting that Missouri line.
Yeah.
At 2.5.
Yeah, I like that. Well, the last one that we have up there that I know we just saw was that Michigan and Rutgers, which is Michigan is at -9.5 right now.
Yeah, and this is a tough one because I feel like we don't know much about the teams right now. We haven't seen their full lineups wrestling, or maybe we have. And let's maybe actually look at kind of what they've been doing. I'm gonna look at just the most recent duel that Michigan had. They wrestled and beat Michigan State pretty good. I just want to see what team they rolled out there. Tanafu, they lost at 33. Gage Botero lost. Ragusin, McNeil, Catcherbone, Gates, Bowman, Brockman, Hayden Walters, Tegadali. Is that the lineup that they are projected to run out there this weekend? And then we'll do the same thing with Rutgers.
Pretty interesting. It's kind of fun to go through and do some points of like, yeah, he could get a major. That's going to be 4 points,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fun part about it, man. But you really do have to look at it match by match.
Yeah, takes a little bit more digging, for sure.
Yeah, to kind of get to where you want to be, you got to kind of look at it match by match.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. Shawver versus Botero. Like, you got to feel good about Shawver there. 25, you feel good about Sotelo. 1, Joey Oliveri hasn't been wrestling, so I don't know if he's gonna show up this weekend. Maybe you wait to see if they put some probables out on Joey Oliveri.
Yeah.
And just kind of wait on that one. But if Oliveri doesn't wrestle, you feel pretty good about Ragusin getting that win against whoever they put out. It's been Tahir Parks, I think, is who wrestled last week. But and then you feel good about Michigan at 49, 57. You feel good about Rutgers at 65, but then Bowman versus Pinto. I mean, that's a toss up. God, that could be a crazy match.
Yeah.
Brockman versus Shane Hardigina Wash. I mean, I don't know. similarly ranked. I think that could go a number of ways. Remy Cotton against Hayden Walters. I mean, Remy Cotton beat him up pretty good twice last year, but Hayden Walters was a young kid, I think, at the time. And then Gadali, you feel good about Gadali beating Katka. So I don't know. There's some toss-ups in this one. Just from the look of it, if I bet it right now, I'd probably just say that Joey Oliveri isn't going to wrestle since he hasn't wrestled this week. And feel good about taking that Michigan minus 9.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
probably
Well,
where
that's
I'd sit at right now.
well, just for like a quick recap from that. So Missouri, Arizona State's your lock for the week, right? That minus 2.5.
One I feel
Missouri.
best about.
Yeah.
It's the one I feel best about right now with the
Mhm.
circumstances and all the information we have right now. It's the one I feel best about. So yeah, that's the one I feel best about now. When Friday comes, I may have a different tune, but I like taking Iowa with all those points. Penn State has to have a lot of things go right. And then I like taking who was the other one? I like taking West Point with the 14.5. I probably wouldn't take much less than that. And then I like Michigan covering 9.5 against Rutgers.
There you go. You heard it here first. Hunter Gamble's Gambling Corner. Let's see how we do.
Cole and I were talking. It's got a couple of meanings to it. So I think we're gonna go with the segment of the show is gonna be called the Gamble Line. Now, couple meanings. The gamble line is, you toe a line in wrestling. We all know you toe the line. That's part of the gamble line. So we'll make that part of a graphic. I've got all these ideas in my head for a graphic, The line that we're discussing, the line of the bet that you're placing, and then also we may stop doing a podcast, turn this into a gambling hotline. You just never know. I mean,
so many meanings.
That may be the direction that we go.
Yeah, you'll see. We'll
Multiple
see.
meanings.
I like it. Well, that is, I think that wraps up. We had a good week of wrestling, some really good stuff coming up, some big duels, and some fun lines coming out. So,
and it's only getting better, man. I mean, we're just getting into the heart of the Big Ten schedule, and we'll see some other duels, Big 12 and other duels pop up that you'll just kind of be like, whoa. I mean, we didn't even mention Minnesota and Nebraska. They're not, they're wrestling this weekend, and that's not on the DK slate, so we haven't said anything yet.
Yeah.
NC State, Stanford. I mean, there's so many good duels. Yeah. Stay tuned.
Well, we appreciate you guys listening today. Stay tuned for so much more to come. Stay tuned for the toe the line? What'd you say?
The gamble line.
The gamble line. And have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Later.